Hello everyone, and welcome back to the other side of the news channel. Let's take a look what's going on today. In today's Wall Street Journal, this is the Saturday-Sunday edition, 11 July 2020. On the front page, we see similar secular Turkey to reopen as mosque. That's bad news for religious freedom in Turkey. America warns Boeing on MAX orders. Basically, American is going to reduce the number of planes that it's going to take, new plane orders, and the MAX saga continues. The president commutes a sentence of longtime confidant Roger Stone. That's not unexpected. This looks interesting. Newly discovered comet burns bright. A newly discovered comet is streaking past Earth, providing a stunning show after buzzing the sun and expanding its tail. Comet Neowise, the brightest comet visible from the northern hemisphere in a quarter century, swept within Mercury's orbit a week ago. Its proximity to the sun caused dust and gas to burn off its surface and create an even bigger debris tail. NASA's Neowise infrared space telescope discovered the comet in March. The comet is about 3 miles across. It will be visible across the northern hemisphere until mid-August when it heads back toward the outer solar system. Too bad it's going to miss us. It would have been interesting. This is the pandemic employment winners and losers. Groups that have usually fared better in the workplace or are established in their careers weathered closures earlier this year better than those who have traditionally lagged in employment. Well, that's what else is new. This interview caught my eye. This is the weekend interview with Glenn Loury by Tunku Varadarajan, a challenger of the woke company policy. Next spring, Glenn Loury will teach a new course on freedom of expression to students at Brown University, where he's a professor of economics. Quote, we'll read Plato, Socrates, Milton, John Stuart Mill, George Orwell, and Alan Bloom, he says, stressing the Bloom's best-known work, The Closing of the American Mind, How Higher Education Has Failed Democracy and Impoverished the Souls of Today's Students, is as relevant as it was when published in 1987. Mr. Loury is thinking about adding the Paxson letter to his syllabus so that his students might critique it. That June 1st missive to the Brown community from Christina Paxson, Brown's president, asserted that oppression as well as prejudice, outright bigotry, and hate directly and personally affect the lives of millions of people in this nation each minute and every hour. It committed the university to programming courses and research opportunities that promote equity and justice. Mr. Loury scorns the letter as Miss Paxson's company policy and the Black Lives Matter view of the world reflected from the Brown University's college president's office. On June 5th, he published a rebuttal in City Journal. Ms. Paxson's letter was signed by everyone, from deans to the general counsel and even the investment manager for Brown's $4.2 billion endowment. Mr. Loury tells me by Zoom from his home in Providence, Rhode Island, that made it an official policy, he says. I don't think universities should have official policies about contentious political issues. If they do, if we foreclose debate over contentious issues by declaring that there's only one way, if we foreclose debate over contentious issues by declaring that there's only one way for a decent person at this university to think about them, how can we fulfill our mission to teaching our students to think critically? Scholarly inquiry ought to consist of exploration of the evidence, the moral commitments, the political issues, and the historical content. The Paxson letter makes these hard questions more perilous to ask. I'm 71, he says. I have tenure. I have a chair. That doesn't mean that the McCarthyism can't get me, but I'm as secure as anyone is ever going to be. What if he were 32, an untenured assistant professor of English or history? Dare I even mumble a contrary word since that kind of thing has been put out into the air? Universities shouldn't be handing down a party-line document. Few have dared dissent. Of his 500 professorial colleagues here in Brown, he says, only 3 responded to his rebuttal by saying, good job. He refers to McCarthyism advisedly to evoke a sense of witch hunt, of a moral consensus that tramples over people who dissent. I hunt back through the yearbook to find out what you would have said when you were in high school and say, you see, you're a racist. The self-righteous, smug tyranny is familiar. It used to be, you don't think like me, you must be communist. Now remove communist and put in racist. Well, this goes on. It's a nice piece. And I agree. There's something else here. California wants a federal bailout. Tax reform must come first. Yeah, well, I don't think the federal government should give states any money. That's it there. Michael Flynn deserves a... What about this? Will Democrats accept another Trump victory? Every time they lost since 1968, they've called it illegitimate, except for the 49 state landslides. Well, that's true. Carnival will shrink fleet by 13 ships. That's about 10% of its fleet. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching The Other Side of the News. Please remember to leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the like button. Until tomorrow, bye-bye.